why do we need a jhana? So exactly, we need a jhana to realize the nibbana. That is why we need a jhana. So how do we realize the nibbana? So if we want to realize the nibbana, we should have clever understanding about the Buddha's teaching, Buddha's Dhamma. So especially anicca, dukkha, anatta. So when we discuss about anicca, dukkha, anatta, so if I ask you, do you know about anicca, dukkha, anatta? Then you will say, yes, I know anicca, dukkha, anatta. Then how do you know? You will say, eye is impermanence, ear is impermanence, tongue is impermanence, body is impermanence, nose is impermanence, and mind is impermanence. You will say in that way. Correct. But that is not enough to realize the nibbana. So Buddha explained about anicca, dukkha, anatta in a broader context. So we have to understand that. So we should have clear understanding about that. Especially Buddha pointed out, when we understand about anicca, I is impermanence. And we have to understand what is I. And material form or visual object is impermanence. So we have to understand what is visual object, and we have to understand what is I consciousness. So for example, when we think about our life, our living, so when we think about my father, your father, how did you create your father? So when you think about that, you had created your father with the help of I consciousness, and visual object. These three come together and contact arises. So then because of the contact, feeling and perception, vedana and sanya arise. Then to that feeling and perception, to that vedana and sanya, we think with the help of the ignorance, this is the father. So but you don't know that what is happened in your inside. So we create the father with the help of the ignorance. So to that vedana and sanya, so that feeling and perception. So we think that vedana and sanya, or otherwise this creating, towards we see that vedana and sanya towards the visual object. So you see that your father in the physical visual object or physical things. Then you see your father in that physical object, and at that time when you see your father in the physical object, so that physical object has been disappeared, which brought that image to your mind. It has been disappeared. Then that is the ignorance. You think your father, but there is not your father in that physical object. That is how you created the father with the help of the ignorance. So why you create your father in that way? Because you don't know that I had been disappeared. You don't know that I consciousness had been disappeared. You don't know that visual object had been disappeared. That is why. So that is the impermanence, but you can't see it. So in the same way, when you hear some sound, So for example, we think this is the dog. We hear some sound, we think that is the dog. But how that dog is created? With the help of the ignorance. So sound and ear consciousness, these three come together and contact arises, and because of the contact, feeling and perception arised, and that to that feeling and perception we think that is dog. So we saw that dog in the outside, in the physical object, but created in your inside with the help of the ignorance. Why did you do that wrong thing? Because you don't know about the impermanence. You did not see the impermanence of the sound. You did not see the impermanence of the ear. You did not see the impermanence of ear consciousness. That is why you did that wrong thing with the help of ignorance. And so when we think about the body, people think we have a huge body. Exactly, we don't have a huge body. We have so how body is arised? So body and tangible and body consciousness. These three come together and contact arise, and because of that contact, feeling and perception arise. To that feeling and perception, we think that this is the body, this is my leg, but you see body as a picture. There are no any picture belongs to the body. Body is a tangible thing. So there are no picture, but we see the body as a picture. Why did you do that wrong thing? Because you don't know about the impermanence correctly. Buddha pointed out that that things as impermanence. Body is impermanence, and body consciousness is impermanence, and tangible is impermanence. That is what you should understand, but you can't see it because your mind is not clear. Your mind has been covered with defilements. So in the same way, we should understand about the mind. So you think about your father. You think, now I can think about my father, but you have never thought about your father. You had think about your thoughts as your father, but that is not the father, that's a mental object. You can never think about anyone who live in the world. You can all the time think about a mental object. How that mental object is arised? So that mental object is arised, mind and mind consciousness and mental object. These three together, it is called contact arises. Contact means pass. So because of that contact, feeling and perception arise. Then you think that this is my father in the mind. So that created with the help of the ignorance. So that is the wrong thing you do all the time. People do all the time, but you can't see. But the Buddha pointed out that after handovering the object, mind is disappeared. Mental object is disappeared, but we don't see it. After handovering the picture, I is disappeared, and I consciousness is disappeared, and visual object is disappeared, but we don't see it. We should see that. To see that, we need especially samadhi, ekaggata. So, developing of the ekaggata called jhāna. That is why we need the jhāna.